Hello there, human. This is God speaking. Are you struggling to build good habits that stick? Have you been overindulging on ice cream, movies, and other distractions? Well, put the crisps down then, jabroni. Because this guy, yes, this guy, is going to teach you the most powerful way to build better habits for life.
Often when we're trying to get focused and organized with our lives, we make two mistakes. First, we rely on all of our motivation, all of our desire to make a change. And that's not really that helpful because our motivation, our desire, our emotions, they tend to fluctuate from one day to the next. How often have you been really motivated at the beginning of making a change in your life, but after a few weeks or even a few days, that shiny new habit has just fallen to the wayside and it's forgotten? And the second problem is that we try and do everything at once. All of the good habits, cold showers, journaling, exercising, meditating. There's this massive list of possible good habits we could build, and it goes on and on and on. And how often have you tried to do all of these at once, but failed spectacularly to build anything? Now, the Habit Triad challenge, which is what I'm going to teach you in this video, is a 90-day reset that completely changes that and solves both of those problems. It's such a great way to get back on track and something that I go back to every time I want to make any kind of behavioral change in my life. And to explain how it works, let me tell you the story of someone I know called Average Adam and his failed morning routine. Average Adam. Average Adam is on the surface a pretty decent, normal guy. He's got a good life, a good job, a good relationship, and so on. But beneath the surface, there's something different about him. He's more than ordinary. He's ambitious, motivated. He reads self-help books and he knows the importance of mindset, of habits, and he's gonna get more from life. But here's a problem. Most of his time goes into his job, his video games, and the time that he basically wastes on social media, scrolling through on his phone. And so after reading a book by another popular self-help guru, he gets really motivated and decides, to hell with this. I'm gonna wake up really early at 5 a.m. every day, and I'm gonna do all these great things. I'm not gonna let myself be mediocre. I'm gonna wake up early, hit the gym, have a cold shower, listen to audiobooks every day, and avoid all forms of dopamine and distraction. I'm ready to be the best version of me. Yeah! And day 1 goes by, he smashes it. He feels good about himself and his life. Day 2, day 3, day 4, and woo! He's on a roll. He's thinking, wow, look at me, yaar. I'm really doing this. I am on top of the world. But then on day 8, feels a little bit tired, misses his alarm, says to himself, all right, it's a rest day. Doesn't matter, I'll get back on track tomorrow. I've been smashing it. But then day 9, day 10, day 11 roll on by, and Average Adam has done the unthinkable. He's fallen off track. He stays up late one night playing video games, eating junk food, and scrolling for hours on his phone, looking at his friends on social media, completely annihilating his routine and his progress. And worst of all, he feels like a total loser because he's back exactly where he started and where he doesn't want to be. Can you relate to this story? If so, which part of it resonates most? If I was coaching Average Adam, and yes, there is an Average Adam in all of us, I'd tell him 2 things. Number 1, you got way too excited and you tried to make too many changes at once. And number 2, you forgot that change doesn't just through your motivation and desire alone, but through design. The Habit Triad challenge works like this. Pick 3 habits for 3 months and just focus every day on building those 3 things. And since we are relational, not solitary beings, enlist the help of 3 other people to hold you accountable and cheer you on along the way. Now, you might wonder, why 3 habits and not more or less? Well, First off, our brains are wired to seek out novelty, variety, and challenge. It's the reason we get hooked on watching shows on Netflix, for example, over and over again, even if we've seen them before. It's the reason so many of us get addicted to video games. You get endless entertainment, endless reward, and there's something familiar about the joy and the pleasure that you'll get from those things. Comfort is just a swipe or a tap away. It's easy. But change, on the other hand, change is quiet, unfamiliar. Its rewards are far from immediate. In fact, the reward doesn't come today, but it comes possibly someday in some distant future, and you have to delay your gratification. It's hard. By selecting 3 habits to master at a time, it gives you enough variety, challenge, and change to keep you focused and motivated on all 3 fronts, but not too much that it's an overload. Pick too many more than that, like Average Adam did, and it gets overwhelming. Pick less than that, and it can definitely work. But the problem here for many of us is this feeling of analysis paralysis. Well, which one habit do you choose to focus on? The best part of the Habit Triad challenge is that compound interaction between the 3 habits that you select. Let's say, for example, your Habit Triad, so the 3 that you chose, were sticking to no going on your phone before bed, morning walks, and daily journaling. Well, as you go through the challenge, what you'll notice is that the more you succeed with one habit in one area, the more it aids and advances the other 2. And that brings me to the core aim, the core principle of this challenge, and that is to gain direct experience of not the habits or the things you get from them, but the underlying principles of behavior change for you specifically. You can study theory all day, but your situation, your psychology, your environment are all unique to you, and that is the goal, for you to master you. You're literally rewiring your internal patterns. And I think the best part of this that I love when I'm coaching people on things like this is seeing the newfound self-esteem and belief that people gain. It's really an amazing thing. The second question then is, why 3 months? Why not 21 days or 7 days or something like that? Well, it's said that habits can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days to form, with the average being 66 days. Now, obviously, the more complex the habit you want to build is, the longer it's going to take to stick. Mastering daily piano practice for 30 minutes for a beginner, for example, is more complicated than just making your bed every morning. A 90-day period then gives you that sweet spot of it's long enough that you can try, fail, learn, tinker, and readjust with your habits, but it's not so long that it feels overwhelming and completely undoable. And so let's say you decide to do the challenge. How exactly should you go about it, especially if you're not sure which 3 habits to choose? Well, the best place to start is to keep it super simple and use what I call the 2 hats technique. And this is how it works. Start right now. Yep, right now. I'm gonna wait for you to grab a pen and paper, and I want you to put your thinking hat on and think of every single habit that you'd like to build and write it down on a piece of paper. And that's what I call the dumping hat. Dump all of your options, all your possible ideas and habits down first. The main aim is to just write, not to edit. And then what you're gonna do is put on your sorting hat.
Just and loyal. True. Yes, clearly Hufflepuff.
Nobody wants to be in Hufflepuff. And so with your sorting hat on, have a think about which 3 from your list you'd like to build first. And I stress first because you're not deciding which ones are most important and thereby triggering FOMO or fear of missing out, but just which 3 you want to master first. Once you've chosen, have a think about your why for each habit. And a really good way to do this is what I call the 5 why method. I didn't come up with it, I don't know where I found it. But you basically write down a reason why for each habit. What you'll find is you'll basically come to a common denominator, a couple of words that you can focus on when you're not feeling so motivated that help you to get the habit done. The final part of the Habit Triad challenge is the most vital piece: commitment and community. And to illustrate, let's talk about the second habit I chose recently for this challenge, and that was meditation. Now, meditation isn't really a new habit for me. I've gone on plenty of retreats in the past and done lots of it before, but I really wanted to turn it into a daily, non-negotiable practice this time, because I'd dabbled like average Adam and I'd been super inconsistent, meditating some days for a couple of minutes and then crushing it other days, doing 30 minutes, 50 minutes and more, until I added this extra level of commitment both internally and externally. And to explain, let me tell you another story, and it's the story of Ulysses, because I think that it teaches this concept of commitment really well. Ulysses, as he sets off on this quest looking for treasure, he knows that all of the people who've tried before him had been killed by the beauty and the song of the sirens. Sailors would approach the treasure on this island, but then be tempted by these beautiful sirens singing on an island nearby. And so they turn their ships and crash into the rocks, dying on the way. So what Ulysses decided to do was have his crew tie him to the mast of his ship and block his ears, his eyes, so that he couldn't be tempted. He was forced to complete the journey. He knew temptation was going to meet him on the way. And I think this story is so relatable. Who are your sirens? What are your temptations that stop you from building your habits? It could be video games, porn, social media, whatever. But the lesson to apply here is that if you want to reach your goal or intended destination, how will you resist that temptation to quit, to leave it for another day? And how will you make it a non-negotiable commitment that you're really likely to complete this new behavior? There's a couple of ways that you could approach this. Practically, you can make the habit easier to actually do, but also think of the people and the community who love you and want the best for you. A mistake we make too often is trying to make change to our lives in isolation. But isn't it better and way easier and way more fun when we bring people along with us? So have a think about who are the people that you can enlist to help you. And that's why the last part of setting up your Habit Triad challenge is choosing 3 people, maybe in like a WhatsApp group or something like that, to keep you accountable and motivated along the way. I want to thank today's sponsor of the video, Muse, for helping me do exactly that, build more commitment and community into my meditation sittings. If you've not heard of them before, Muse is a brain sensing headband that helps you to refocus and meditate better by using advanced EEG technology to detect your brain activity, your heart rate, your breathing, and body movements. It then uses all of this data to give you real-time feedback through an app on your meditation practice.
Muse is now listening to your brain signals. Relax and let your mind flow naturally. If you notice that you're distracted, just let it happen.
I was very kindly sent this Muse 2 to test out and review, and I was using it for the duration of my latest Habit Triad challenge. I'll definitely do a full review later on, but talking specifically about how it's helped me. And I used to use a free meditation app on my phone when I meditated, because I thought, yeah, you know what? I know how to do Vipassana. I've done 10-day meditation retreats. I definitely don't need a fancy gadget or something like that. But is it helpful as a tool? And since using this, it's given me a live feedback loop of my focus and concentration. One of my favorite features is on the app, as you're wearing the headband and meditating, the app plays some gentle rain sounds in the background. And the moment your mind starts to wander and drift, the app starts to play heavier sounds of rain and maybe even a little bit of thunder to remind you that you've gone off track and help you to come back to your breath or whatever it is that you're doing in that meditation sitting. What I noticed using it every day for the last 3 months was that my brain started to learn quicker the moments of distraction when they came, and that improved my learning curve exponentially, because I noticed how distraction comes not from anything outside, a noise or something like that, but from inside. And for me, that's the most important skill that I think we can learn, is how much our inner chimps jump from one branch of thought to the next and the next and the next. I'm no scientist, but what I love about Muse 2 and Muse overall is it's backed by research from Harvard, Yale, NASA, MIT, to name a few, And their whole company is steered by a group of researchers who sit on their advisory board. So if you're a beginner or you're more advanced with your meditation, the app has got so many great features for so many people. I'll definitely do a full review, but definitely check them out and click on the link in the description to get a special 10% discount. I'll put the discount code on screen as well. Also want to add here for full disclosure, I never promote anything that I haven't tried myself and that I don't believe in myself. I get so many offers from companies nowadays to promote their products in videos, and I really do take the time to scrutinize, test, research, play around with each one so that I can offer you my genuine thoughts and be like your little guinea pig. I'd actually been a fan of Muse for a long time before they approached me, so I was super happy to partner up with something that I think promotes such a great practice, meditation. Now, for those of you who may not be able to afford something like this yet, it costs around $250. You can still use their app for free, but I'm running a special giveaway where I'm giving away my Muse 2 to a random subscriber on my email list. I'm actually going to be upgrading to the Muse S, so this is actually my spare now. And if you want to be in with a chance to win, all you need to do is join my free weekly email newsletter and reply to one of my next issues as to why you should be the lucky winner. This giveaway is going to end on the 15th of November, so you got plenty of time from when this video is uploaded. More than 50% of your actions on any given day are automatic actions or habits. And these habits have been formed through repeated actions over the course of your life. Some serve you and some work against you. And so remember that habit formation is not this one-time occurrence. Your brain is constantly scanning for your environment, looking for cues and ways to automate behavior. And so the choices that we make today are the votes we are casting to become the person that we want to be in the future. We're not here to simply study habits and do nothing after watching videos like this. I want you to be an action addict, not a theory junkie, just collecting knowledge for no reason. If you're waiting for a little prompt, then a sign, a little spark of motivation, let this be it. Let this be your invitation to start your Habit Triad challenge for the next 90 days. And so I want to invite you to comment down below and tell me and the rest of the community here, which 3 habits are you going to build? When does your challenge end? And who are your 3 supporters going to be?
Click here to watch another video by this beautiful bearded man about building better habits, even when you feel lazy. And remember, there's a consequence you pay for constantly seeking comfort. When it comes to habits, build consistency first and add complexity later.